Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have 5 novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. I am delighted to introduce you to two creatives, author and an illustrator, and they're coming to us from Hawaii and from the Pacific Northwest. Janet Hinde and Linda Clifford. Hey, Janet. Hey, Linda.
Hi,
Aloha.
Karen. Thank you
Aloha.
for having us here.
Aloha. And you're welcome. And thank you for saying yes. Thank you guys for agreeing to be on. I'm delighted. So start with a little background because I understand that you guys have been friends for a really long time. And I
Yeah.
am blessed with friends that I still have from childhood, from 12 years old. I'm married to one of them that I've been friends with since childhood. And so I always love to start with kind of like introduce yourselves and then tell us a little bit about this lifelong friendship. So, Janet, why don't you start and just
Okay.
tell us
Um,
about
me-
yourself?
we met in a barn um, in Ohio 50 years ago. Um, we both rode horses, and we've been friends ever since. Sometimes we've gone long periods without talking when you're raising kids, but we always find our way home again. And call
Mm.
up and catch up, and it's like not a moment's passed when long periods happen. So it's been a
So you
wonderful
both grew
friendship.
up in Ohio? You both grew up in Ohio?
uh
Yes. Well, I did. Janet moved a lot, but she was in Ohio when I met her there.
And then the friendship remained. And Janet, just give us a little bit about your background.
um I've I was married to a Vietnam vet for 29 years, and he passed in 2008.
Mm.
And my kids, by that time, our kids had grown and flown the coop pretty much. And before he left, I made my living through art. And then after he left, I really branched out. And so I would say, first and foremost, I worked through my mental health through art. So
Mm.
that's
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. And Linda, tell us a little bit about you.
So I met Janet in Ohio in 1975, and about the time I went to college, Janet was raising babies. I went to college in Virginia, and then I moved out to the Pacific Northwest. And then Janet came out to my first wedding in the Pacific Northwest, went home to Ohio, packed up, and moved out there. So I raised my kids there until they were 6 and 8. And then I moved to Hawaii so that our kids could kind of have a better childhood. So that's my story.
Yeah. And how long have you been writing?
This is a new endeavor. So Janet and
Hmm.
I are both members of the Widows Club. And about the time, Karen, that you were writing and publishing True Grace in 2023, I was losing my husband. And so you recognize at that point that life is fleeting. And I just had this urge to leave something for my grandkids. So I reached out to my best friend of 50 years and said, Janet, will you help me with this project? That's how it got started. And we've been having so much fun. We keep making more books, but only one is published right now.
I know, but you've got a whole bunch coming. So
Someday.
that is so cool. So tell us, Linda, let's start with you. Tell us about the book and the premise, the concept of it. You said you wanted to leave something for your grandchildren. Tell us what it is you wanted to leave for your grandchildren, and also how you think that might help other people.
Okay. All right. So first, I have to ask you, Karen, and this is a yes or no question. I'm not putting you on the spot, but do you know what a tutu is?
Yes, because I read your email.
Good girl. Thank you very much. So Tutu is a grandparent in the Hawaiian language, and it's also the name that my grandchildren call me. So I'm Tutu to my grandchildren. And Pearl stands for pearls of wisdom. So what we did was we took a bunch of idioms and paired it up with really important, whimsical, Grandma Moses style kind of art that Janet did. And it kind of pops. It's has a capacity to calm your nervous system. It's peaceful. Our intention with it was that when you read it, it made you feel like you just had a big hug. So that's what we've been doing. Yeah. And it's worked out. So when we published it for my grandchildren on bookbaby.com, we thought we were done. But now we're starting to feel like maybe the rest of the world could use, the opportunity to reconnect with things we already know, but have forgotten that it potentially could make our life more joyful.
Yeah, and who doesn't need a hug?
Right?
So, Janet, can you show us both the cover and some of the illustrations inside?
Yes. So tell me if the
Mm,
lighting's good. This is the
it
cover.
is.
And then is it okay if I pick my favorites?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you're asking Linda.
No, just putting it out there in general. Um, so often when I paint, I laugh at what I'm doing. And I laugh so hard I have to put the paintbrush down and walk away because they tickle me. And I try not to take it all too, life is far too important to be taken seriously. That's Oscar Wilde. But
We all need to laugh too.
here is my favorite piece. Is it
Oh,
coming across?
yes. If you have,
Um,
If you have what you need, build a longer table, not a higher fence.
um,
So to me, that really expresses the importance of sharing and that how we all feel better when we do share. Um, and that can be for a 4-year-old sharing your toys with your younger sibling, or it could be for an adult that sometimes when you randomly give to somebody, it brings you joy.
and Linda, the other thing that hit me about that, I didn't even think about the little children and the grandchildren. I thought about the fences that we have up right now. There's some really high fences that we have up now. And so the first thing when I looked at that and heard the words, I thought, yeah, that's what we need to be doing. So you're right. It works for children and it works for adults, and it's very timely, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately.
Correct.
Too many high fences. Show us another one.
um, I had one picked out, but then this is one of my personal painting favorites. I love this one. Um,
Surround yourself with those you love. Yeah.
no
And we're
matter,
more alike than we are different. What does
yeah,
it say underneath? Oh, that's lovely, Linda.
Everything is a choice between love and fear.
Yes, that is so, oh my goodness, this book is so timely.
It only takes about 10 minutes to read, so it presents like a children's bedtime story, but really, as Janet and I say, we say it's a book for, quote, children of all ages.
I would agree. And a book for our times.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is
fortunate.
lovely. What was it like? So you both don't live close by to each other. So how did the collaboration work? What was that like?
Fun,
Really fun.
laughter. We talk on the phone. She would send me an idea and I'd sit with it. And, I live in the woods. And so I'm always out, working or keeping the forest back a little bit so I don't get engulfed. And I would paint something and I'd send it to her and does this work? Do you feel it? Does it hit you? And we do that for, I don't know, Frenchie, 6-7 months. And then I would fly to Hawaii, and in 5 to 7 days, we do all the layout, we put everything together, and we'd be done. And then we'd come up with a new idea. Oh, let's do this next, and let's do this one, and what about this? And so it's just been this wonderful experience to laugh and accept each other's weaknesses and their strengths, and laugh at it ourselves and our artwork. It's just joyful.
Put that one back up. Let's see this one.
Your body is a temple. Treat it that way.
Yes.
That one's a little preachy. We try not to get too
but I love the
bossy. But I love the elephant. It has nice soft eyes. So Karen, I do want to add on that to what Janet said, that like our process is that we keep working together until we get to a place where we both say, I love that. And we've known each other long enough that somebody can say something, it's safe between us. And I can say, yeah, I'm not feeling that one yet, but we'll come back to it or whatever, and vice versa. And until we get to that point where we're both like, yeah, I love that. That's when we know it's going to go in the book.
It's perfect. Yeah. So you've written how many other books?
4 others. So, and they're all Tutu titles. So there's Tutu Eats, Tutu Takes a Trip, Tutu's on the Road Again. And what's our last one, Janet? Oh, Tutu Loves Hawaii. So, and we have plans for 2 more after that we know of. But, it takes Janet a while to do the art. So we come up with a concept, Janet paints, and, she sees where it takes her. And then we get together and finalize something. And sometimes we go in a total different direction.
Wow. That is awesome. So when will we see these other books?
We don't know yet. We're still thinking about that. So I told you we wrote Tutu's Pearls for my grandchildren. And when we finished it self-publishing with Book Baby, we felt like we were done. So then we wrote our second book, Tutu Eats. And that's all the recipes that we've collected and we've learned in the kitchen with our parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles. And, it again, the art in it looks like a children's story, but in it is one of my recipes, and Janet calls me Frenchie. So it's called Auntie Frenchie's COVID Cosmo. That's not a children's drink, but it's in there. So again, we kind of just wrote that to leave to our children. Like, you add to more. Here was your great grandparents' recipe for what they liked. And what we realized too was that most of the recipes are pretty unhealthy, have a lot of mayonnaise or cheese in them, but they're good comfort food.
That is lovely. That is lovely. My daughter-in-law, she has a podcast called Cookery by the Book, and she interviews people who, author cookbooks, with recipes and stuff. But I love that this is more than that, because it's a story, right? It's about auntie who made it, and
it's food of the heart.
Food from the heart.
Food from the heart.
Yes. Food that feeds the heart and comes from the heart.
Right.
We got our tagline, Janet.
I like that. So it is a daunting thing to decide, do I try to get this published in another way? There are a lot of these hybrid publishers who give you more support and help you do more, publicity, and, so it's sort of self-publishing, but you get some of the benefits of being with a traditional publisher. It's, as authors, as writers, these are the things that make it so challenging for us. I know of writers who have been with one publisher, a traditional publisher, for 4 books, and then they turn down book 5. Like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So it's a tricky business, but you guys have the right attitude. You're doing it for joy. That's the right, that's absolutely the right way to go. Absolutely. And every time, so that when you guys do that 7 day spread, it's always in Hawaii?
So
So
far.
far, um, the weather is more accommodating there more of the year.
Yes,
So
indeed.
um,
My
it's
house is
pretty,
easier to get to from the airport.
yeah, I'm out
She
there a
lives out in the woods
ways.
somewhere. Hmm.
Yeah. So, and it, even if she comes in July, we often are sitting around in down coats at night. It stays pretty cold by the water. The 50s at night are very common. And when you live in Hawaii, 50 feels cold. So,
Yes. It's like, what?
you and she's very understanding when I go there of like, oh, I can't be in the sun anymore. It's so hot. I have to go lay down. So I tend to get up like at 4 in the morning and start working. By the time she gets up, I'm just babbling away. I've done this, and this. And what do you think of this? And so Hawaii seems to work pretty well
Sounds
for
like it.
working and getting everything together for the both of us.
Yeah. And Linda, have you shown this to your grandchildren
Oh, yes.
and your
They
children? What did they say? What was their reaction?
they let, in fact, Janet, show a picture, if you would, of the dedication page. So it's dedicated to my second husband who passed away after 6 years, and his name was Tutu Rob. And so there is a picture of my granddaughter Penny and my grandson Ollie with Tutu Rob. So yes, they've
Oh,
read it, and I got their permission from them and their parents to use their picture. And since then, we donated a book to a local school, and now my grandson is in kindergarten, my granddaughter's in first grade, and the headmaster reads our book to every kindergarten class in the school. So
oh
yes,
my goodness. Oh, how gratifying that is. That is wonderful. I want to come in to Hawaii when you're there and be with you guys
it's fun.
during during this wonderful process. So this show is What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? And so do you have any book recommendations that you could make to our audience of any genre, any type, any kind, anything that you've read recently that you can share?
I didn't read this recently, but I do really like Michael Singer's book, Untethered Soul. That's a really good book. But if you
Mm,
go to, normally I kind of just read fiction. And I just read A Gentleman in Moscow, and sorry, I
yeah.
don't remember the author, and I didn't see the movie because I didn't want to. But one of the things I loved about it was the language. He was speaking just like a gentleman, and I just thought that was so beautiful. So
Yeah, that was a good book.
it was a
I
good book.
enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have his second book on my nightstand. I'm going to start tonight, Rules of Civility, which is about New York and during like the jazz era. So I'm really excited to read that too.
Yeah, that
And
sounds cool.
I am just starting a book called A Place of Greater Safety, um,
Mm,
by Hilary Mantel. It was recommended by my sister, so I, immediately got it, and it's about the French Revolution, and
cool.
it's relevant in a lot of ways. So it's very interesting, and I highly recommend it, even though I just started it. So
Yeah,
there,
but it's got you. It's grabbed you.
it did.
And a
Well,
good
I
and a
like
good
history.
recommendation.
I like
Yes.
history, and I find it fascinating. So
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, you have totally charmed our audience. They're all very, very interested. You can get Tutu's Pearls. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it in Barnes and Noble. You can ask for it in your independent bookstore. You could ask for it in your library. You can buy copies and take and donate them to your local school. Don't you think that would be cool, guys? They bought a bunch of them and donated them to their children's elementary school. Where else can they find you, where they can find out about you guys? And
We have a website, www.tutusbooks.com, And on that website, there's a link that says order here that will take you straight to our author page on BookBaby. And yes, it's available on Amazon. It's kind of not, they say it's available in Barnes and Noble, but it's not really on the shelves yet. These are some of the pitfalls that we're trying to figure out. But you can definitely find it on Amazon, definitely at BookBaby. One of the things I want to emphasize too is that it's a giftable picture book. And what I like about it is it makes a great gift, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of things. So like, it's customary when you live in Hawaii, if you go to somebody's house or a party, you bring a gift, whatever it is. And it could be a lei, but leis are like $35 now. They're not cheap anymore. So our book is what, 24.48 or something like that on BookBaby. And I oftentimes bring it as a gift, and it's very well received. And it seems like whenever I give one away, they buy 3 or 4 more for their friends and family.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I want to thank you, ladies, so much for being on the show. I want to thank all of you for watching, or if you're listening, we are also on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, so people can just listen. But it's not the same because then you'll miss the picture. So you really need to watch this so you can look at the paintings. And I thank you for being with us. And I hope that you will come back next week in the next episode of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Karen.
you, Karen.